Welcome to the Pro Formula Podcast. I'm your host, Tarek Shabazz, and our podcast is all about helping professionals find that formula to success. And so I am super excited to be here and introduce you all to my guest today, Miss Lisa Williams with It's Simply Digital. Lisa and I go back and we were just catching up, and I'm so excited to see you. Lisa, how you been?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
What you been up to these days? Every time I look up, I'm like, she's moving and shaking and shaking and moving.
Going on, right?
Yeah, you do, absolutely. What you been up to?
I'm growing a business. It's a digital marketing, content marketing agency. And this you don't know because I haven't told you yet, but we also are building a whole nother brand called the Toke Agency.
I liked it. You were telling, I did talk to you about some cannabis.
And so that's going to really be specialized for the cannabis industry.
Okay.
And we're almost ready to launch that. But It's Simply Digital is a digital content marketing agency. We help small businesses and entrepreneurs grow their business digitally with content, whether it's social media, blogs, newsletters, anything that they need content for, graphics. But we don't just give them the strategy, we also implement it for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, last time I saw you, you were marketing, you were working in that field, and then you stepped out on your own. How has it been since you stepped out on your own, and now you're no longer under the cover of a salary, but you're now kind of your own proprietor? What's that like?
Scary and exciting all at the same time. Let me back up and say, just because you have a job with an employer doesn't guarantee you security, but people have this perception that it guarantees you security. Somehow you think, oh, I have this 9-to-5 job and it's somehow going to provide me a paycheck every couple of weeks.
That's right.
And so you're scared to jump off that platform into entrepreneurship because you're like, oh, well, then it's all on me. But shouldn't it be all on you?
I want to talk to you about that because I know we've got some moonlighters. We got some entrepreneurs who are entrepreneurs at night, but during the day they're working their 9-to-5 job, and it's hard. You know, when you're in that situation where you're trying to grow a business. Can you serve two masters? Can you do that successfully?
I did it. I worked full time at a digital marketing agency. It was a boutique marketing agency.
Okay.
And I worked full time, and in the evenings and on the weekends, I busted my ass working for my own business. And yes, you can. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of time, and a lot of energy. Basically, I had no social life because that's what I was doing.
Yeah. Now, when you're building your business, but you're still working at your full-time job, I think sometimes people get caught up on but I need the security, or I got a family that I've got to provide for. And it's hard when you're on your own and you got to eat what you kill. And that's the only thing that you're coming in. That's the only thing that's bringing in. How did you say, you know what, I'm betting on Lisa. I know I can do this. I know I've got the talent to do it on my own. Talk to me about that journey that got you to that point where you said, I'm going to jump off the porch and I'm going to do this full time.
Well, I kind of didn't have a choice. COVID hit, the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
The agency that I was working for was under, financial resource crushing, people were leaving the agency and it just was impacting their revenue. And I got let go. And I had already started that side hustle. And let me tell you a little story.
Yeah, let me hear it.
The night before I got let go, I was talking to a friend on the phone. And now, mind you, I've spent like the last 7, 8, 9 months prior to that building my side hustle.
Okay.
And I said to my friend, I really wish I could just work full time on my side hustle.
Mm-hmm. The universe heard that. The universe was like, you said you wanted it. I got it.
I got it. I'm handing it to you. So I walk in the next day to go meet with my boss at the time. And, we had a really great relationship. And I did not take it personally. It was just the stars were aligning. The universe was speaking to me. And I just said, okay, I'm going to take this and run with it. And, it's this rocky roller coaster. You don't know sometimes. I didn't know if I was going to be able to pay my mortgage at times. Honestly, that's the honest truth. But then you make it work. And I think I'm a really big believer in manifestation, and I'm a really big believer in thinking things into existence.
There you go.
And I just kept believing in myself, because nobody else is going to come save you. Nobody's here walking in the door with like, hey, Lisa, this is what you need to do. I mean, you're going to have to save yourself. And that was the catalyst, is I got let go.
One of my favorite books is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And it's just like, it's going to change your mind. If you haven't read that book, you need to read As a Man Thinketh, because in that book, it really says you're the gardener of your own life. The way that you think is really going to materialize, and it's going to manifest where that is. Talk to us a little bit about that. I mean, because here you are one day saying, I really want to do my business full time. And then the next day the universe said, oh, I heard you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like,
you want
let
to do
me
your own
just give
job?
it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that book, because it's so deep and so spiritual. And I had to read the same paragraph like 4 or 5 times, because it's really a different way of thinking.
Absolutely. And I just would say this, we're sometimes programmed with our thoughts, like based on your socioeconomics, the way that you were raised, what community that you were brought up in. There's certain people that have certain belief systems, and it's like, I can't go past that belief system. Talk to us a little bit about how you use that book to help you manifest or increase your thoughts.
That book and many others, but you have to unlearn what you've learned. You have to be willing to unlearn.
Yeah.
And it's so hard, Tark. Okay, like you just said, our social economics, our upbringing, whether we go to church, what education we get, who we surround ourselves with, who our parents are, who raised us, who our friends are, who our family is, all that impacts your beliefs and your experiences. And you take these beliefs and these experiences as truth.
Yeah, man. But just quickly to that, my father, I love my dad, and I'm so proud of him. He's actually my hero. He's 81. He'll be 81, God willing, in September. And he grew up in that era, that baby boomer generation that is like, it's all about work. And so his life was built on stability.
Right.
He had a family. His thing was like, I want to have a check. His house is paid off out there in Longview, Texas. He's right about 2 hours up the road. We're in Dream Studio right now out here in Dallas, Fort Worth. But he kind of instilled, man, you got to get a good job. He got a pension. He actually retired from the Air Force. He did 20 years with the Air Force. He got 20 plus years with the Air Force. Then he went on and worked 20 plus years in the post office. And so he's got a retirement. He's living off his retirement. But I've seen that isn't the model any longer. There's no longer any pensions that are coming there for us. So for someone like me, I was raised, get up and go to work. And my dad had so much PTO. Shout out, Pops. He never called in. But my father, when he retired, he had like another 2 years of PTO.
Okay, let's talk about
that.
Let's unpack all of this, because I also was raised of, you got to go to get an education, and you got to get a job, and you need to save for retirement, and then you need to get married and buy the house and have the 2.5 kids and get the dog.
2.5 kids, not 3 and not 2, but we 2.5.
And then you save your whole life for when you're 65 or 70. And then you get to go enjoy all that money that you saved for. But now you're 65 or 70, so your body is starting to...
Health is declining.
Yes, your mind, your energy level, everything. I mean, I know... I'm going to take my stepdad, for example, who has a very nice nest egg.
Okay.
And he's in his mid-80s. And he is unfortunately in a home with Alzheimer's and doesn't get to enjoy the money that he has to go spend. His money is being provided for him to live in this facility. So my thought process is, you have to enjoy the money when you're young enough to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm reading this book called Die with Zero. It's a total different philosophy, a total different way of thinking. And I know everyone's going to go, but what about the kids? And what about retirement? And what about saving for when I'm old? Yes, you do that, but you also enjoy your life while you're young enough to enjoy it. I've spent the last 3 years traveling all over and doing things that I want to do now, that I have the body and the stamina and the energy to do it, that I get to enjoy. I've paddleboarded, I've surfed, I've skied, I scuba dive, I hike, I bike, I do anything and everything that I can do physically that will push me outside of my boundaries so that I can enjoy life. I don't want to get to the end and go, this is all, this is it. I want to take all these experiences and mash them all up and go, this is living.
Now I want to ask you that. I think that book, I'm gonna pick it up, Die with Zero. When you said that, I immediately like clinched up. I'm like, what you mean, Die with Zero? Like I need to have some money in my bank, and I need to have
you
that.
Can't take it with you.
Yeah, I like that. You can't take it with you, but how do you unlock that? Because for me, I'm just gonna tell you, I want the best of both worlds.
Right.
For me, one thing that I remember working so hard for was to get a 6-figure salary.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking, if I make 6 figures,
you've scored.
The confetti's coming out of the sky. I'm living my best life. Then I start making 6 figures. I start looking around and saying, God, could you have? Let me ask it to you this way: could you have done all that you've been doing over these last few years, skiing, paddleboarding, all of that, if you still were working your 9 to 5?
No, because I get to work and live at the same time. What a blessing.
It's a blessing.
That is a blessing. And I don't take any of that for granted. I get to a top of a mountain hiking, and I literally put my hands over my heart, and I'm so grateful that my body got me to the top of the mountain, and God provided me the opportunity to witness this beauty.
It sounds like we're taking shots at the 9 to 5 guy. Are we taking a shot at the 9 to 5 guy, Lisa?
All about living your dream. And entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It's not meant to be for everybody. We wouldn't exist in this world if there wasn't 9 to 5 people. Yeah. I mean, we need them. That's how this world works. I am a big believer in pursuing anything and everything you can to live your dream. If your dream means to go work in corporate America, then by all means, go work in corporate America. If your dream means to own a business, by all means, go own a business. Follow whatever makes your heart happy.
I like that. I think some people have the entrepreneurial vision, but they don't know how to monetize their business.
Right.
So they've got a great idea. How do you separate a great idea or maybe a hobby to, I'm a real entrepreneur, I have a real vision, and I can monetize this and make money? Because I think some people think they're entrepreneurs, but they're really just dreamers. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think also imposter syndrome creeps in. Okay. Well, I mean, it still creeps in, right? Like you think, do I really know what I'm talking about? Am I really able to do this? Does this really make sense? But let me back up and answer your question. How do you start to figure these out?
Listen, y'all, here goes our first key to the formula. Whoa.
All right, you need a hungry crowd. You need a starving crowd. It's not your location. It's not your timing. It's not your product. It's not your service. Is there demand out there in the universe for what you offer?
Okay, so demand is one of the keys to it.
Okay, so let's go back and say, my parents used to sit on the kitchen table and read the newspaper, the actual physical newspaper.
My dad is a newspaper reader to this day.
With their coffee.
Believe it or not, my dad is still reading a newspaper every day.
Okay, but we know that newspapers, the physical newspaper, there's not a lot of demand for it, right? I mean, we could get our news 24/7 on our phone, on our devices, however we want to consume it. And so if I was going to do a product or a service or some kind of software that really was to the newspaper industry, that's probably
not they probably don't have the demand for what you're looking for.
No. But if I was going to sell hot dogs after a bar closed down on a busy street corner,
may have a little bit more demand there.
Or if I was going to sell shoes to a bunch of women who really wanted fashion and that was what they really valued, yes, you're going to have that demand. So
I like that.
you need a starving crowd. That's going to be the first thing.
First step, you want to find a starving crowd. So they've got to have some demand for what it is that you're out there looking for. You cannot just build a business because you got a good idea. Do people not only want it, but are they starved for it? Is that right?
Correct.
That's what I'm hearing?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And then the other thing I would tell you, Turk, is once you figure that out, that there's an industry out there, and you really have to niche down, which is why I just told you about the cannabis industry. We're really getting focused on the cannabis industry. You have to understand, is there a starving crowd?
Okay.
And what if you sold products or service to people who wanted to buy shoes?
Okay.
What if you sold products to men who wanted to buy shoes?
Now we're niching down.
What if you wanted to sell specific tennis shoes to men who played basketball?
Okay, so now we're saying basketball shoes to men who are hoopers. So we're drilling down. Second key, y'all, is you got to find a niche.
Yeah.
You got to niche down what it is that you're looking for. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. So, and then as you figure that out, then you could start broadening your products or your service. Let's use Oprah, for example.
Shout out to Oprah. Oprah, if you're listening to this show, like, you make millionaires just by telling people to go follow somebody or buy their book. Come holla at us at the Pro Formula, please. Holla at me, Oprah.
Please.
Like, holla at Lisa. Holla at my man Dre. Holla at us. We need some help. Oprah.
Okay, so she was so good at building her brand.
Yeah.
So good that you just said it. Anything she speaks becomes gold.
Yeah.
Correct?
Midas touch.
Yes, because she doesn't need a niche. She's Oprah.
Yeah.
But you have to start somewhere,
Okay.
right? She had to start on a talk show, very specific. I think it was in Chicago, right?
That's right.
So you have to start somewhere. And now anything she touches, books that she recommends, products that she recommends, service that she recommends, people run out by the masses to go buy that. So that's what I'm saying. When you sell men's basketball shoes, oh, yeah, that's great. But let's just say now you're selling men's basketball shoes and everybody wants to buy them. And now you're like, oh, let's open it up to women and let's open it up to children. And you just start broadening that.
I like that in theory, and I want to challenge you just a little bit. I like
You
you.
should.
We're friends, but I just want to talk to you on this level. So I'm selling men's basketball shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I love the basketball shoes, but now I got to compete with Nike. Now I got to compete with Under Armour.
Right.
Now I got to compete with Adidas. I think sometimes when we're looking at entrepreneurs and we're thinking about their journey, one of the things that we see is like, how am I ever going to be able to compete with Nike?
You have to set yourself apart. You have to figure out what your unique value is, what your differentiator is, what you bring that Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, all these other shoe companies don't. What is it that you do? I don't know. Maybe there's some magic potion in your shoes or something.
Maybe they're soft.
Yeah.
You just got a super soft shoe. You're hooping out there. It feels like they light as a feather.
I mean, something.
Okay.
Something different, something special, something unique that's really going to set you apart. And you hammer that and you drive that home every single time. And you don't really care about Nike or Adidas or Under Armour because that's not who you care about. It doesn't matter. I don't believe that there's competition in this world. I believe that there's collaboration. And I believe that somebody is going to buy your shoes because they like you. They like what you offer, something that your shoes do that all those other shoes don't do.
You know what I just heard her say, y'all? I just heard her say, stay in your lane and don't swerve.
Yes.
Don't go trying to swerve off into Nike's lane. That's how
Nike's lane.
That's Nike's lane. Let Nike be in their lane. You stay in your lane and you don't swerve. Keep focused. And it's almost like we're developing a tunnel vision towards what you do.
Do you know what racehorses do?
Oh my God. I know it, but I don't want to take your thunder. So you tell us.
Racehorses don't look at the other horses.
They can't.
They don't look back and go, oh, he's coming to get me. I'm going to go faster. They stay in their lane. They can't look anywhere else. You have this focus. You stay where you are and you do whatever it is that you're designed to do.
Yeah.
And your value, people are going to buy because they like me. People are going to buy because they like you.
Is that why you're on the show today? Because you like me?
Yes.
Yeah, Lisa likes me. That's why she's on the show, man. That's what I reached out to Lisa. Let me just tell you a quick story how I got her on the show, y'all. I hadn't talked to her in a couple years. And I haven't seen Lisa we just identified it was 5 years since the last time that I saw her. And I see her on social media. I'm like a social media lurk on LinkedIn. And I just keep seeing her blow up her LinkedIn. And I'm like, I need to talk to her. So I went to LinkedIn. This is no joke. I went into LinkedIn and I went to send her a message. And when I went to send her a message, I saw me and her had caught up and she put her phone number years ago in the link, in the direct message. And so I was gonna be a coward, and I'm just telling my truth. I was gonna be a coward, and I was like, I was gonna send you a text, but then I said, why don't you just call her and talk to her and see what she'll do? Like, tell her what you're doing, talk to her about what your idea is, and the worst thing that she's gonna do is say, I'm too busy, I can't get on your show, and I'm not interested. But she said the exact opposite. She said, oh my God, this is gonna be great. I would love it. Like. Yeah, and then now she's on the show. So I'm just validating what your point is that when people like you, they're actually buying from you because they like you.
They like you.
Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And you bring something. People connect with you. Let me say that the future of marketing, which is now, community and collaboration and curation.
Yeah.
That's what people are craving.
Yeah.
That's what we want in this world today in 2023. And if you bring community and you bring curation and you collaborate with people, you're gonna find those people are gonna come to you.
Yeah.
They're gonna come to you. Let's take Apple for example. They were competing with IBM, right?
Yes.
And IBM was think.
Yep.
All they did is say, think different. That's all they did is just add a different. And then they became Apple. It's a brilliant marketing, right?
It is.
And so they became who they were because they were like, we're for the misfits. We're for the,
We're the creatives.
We're the creatives. We're not the blue collar or the white collar stuffy coat wear, tie. We're not them. We're like, put your jeans on and wear a baggy shirt and put your hat on backwards. And that's who we are. And you have to, and then, so those people, guess who they gravitated to? They stopped using the IBM products and they started gravitating towards Apple. You will find people that will come to you.
Yeah.
We want community. We're craving community.
One other piece that I'm hearing a lot of is like, I want to hear your story. People ask me all the time, like, why do you want to do this? Like, what is your story? Why are you doing this? And I think community, I agree with that, but I also think they want to hear a good story. They want to be able to connect to you, right?
Yes. And so they want your story is how people go, oh, I feel that way too. I understand. She gets me. He gets me. They understand me because they've been through something or experienced something that I have.
Okay.
And that's how they're going to connect with you. And so you share your story, you share your brand story, you share your life story, you share your personal brand story. That's how people connect with you.
I got a kind of weird question for you, but I'm gonna shoot it to you anyway. What would 10-year-old Lisa think about your life today? Like if you could talk to her, which I know is like, I can't talk to myself. Okay, I get that. What would your 10-year-old Lisa, what would she think about your life today?
I think she would be so happy and so excited. I'm picturing my 10-year-old self laying on the grass with my knees up and maybe my hair just a hot mess. And I'm just like, yeah, you go, girl.
I think about 10-year-old Tarek, man. 10-year-old Tarek, I got a pool at my house, Lisa. Like, I got a pool. I live out there in Florida. And I think he would be like, what is going on? Like, I don't know that he would be able to believe it. You know what I mean? Because I think in my heart, I always saw that I was going to do something, but I don't know that I would have believed that it was going to come this way. And I think as I look at how life unfolds and what that ends up being, I think sometimes when I think about 10-year-old Tarek, I'm like, I got you. Like, I could kind of understand where that came from. I want to talk a little bit about your upbringing. Tell me where you grew up at.
I grew up in El Paso, Texas.
Okay.
I'm a Texas girl. Yeah. I went to school there. I've lived in Texas my whole life. I came here after I graduated college. I came to Dallas. I went to UTEP. And my parents were divorced when I was 15. My dad left. And my mom was raising 3 girls.
Okay.
And I was 15 at the time. And I felt like she didn't have a lot of the emotional capacity that to raise 3 girls who were teenagers at the time. And so I felt like I became the mom, which is the role that I took on, at 15 years old. And so I think there's good things and bad things, right? There's great takeaways. It provided me leadership. It provided me, the ability to converse with people who were older than me. It provided me drive and determination. But I also looked at my mom's life and went, this is what I don't want to be. And so it drove me to do something different.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. You guys tune into this commercial right now, man. If you don't know about my man Dream Motivates out here in Dallas Fort Worth, you don't know nothing. I mean, this brother's got it smooth going on. So I want y'all to check this commercial out. Stay with me though, because on the other end, we're gonna get right back into Lisa. We're gonna talk a little bit more about her childhood. So we'll see you back in just a moment. Now, was that cool? Was that cool or what, man? Dream's got it going on out here in Dallas Fort Worth. If you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area and you are into this business, you need to check in with my man Dream because he's really got it going on. So welcome back to the podcast. But Lisa, we were just getting ready to get into some of the nitty gritty. I want to just remind you, you learned some leadership skills as a young lady. You learned how to communicate with adults as a young lady. And you also said something right before we cut that I thought was really interesting. You said, I looked at my mom's life. No offense on mom.
No.
But you said, I know what I don't want my life to be. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. I mean, we struggled financially. And when I say struggled, I mean, struggled to put food on the table.
Okay.
Struggled. Like, it's 3 kids and her and a very small salary. And we're trying to figure out how to eat and live, at the same time. And so money was definitely, and I don't like how we have this relationship with money in the U.S., but money, or in general, was a driving force also, because I was like, I don't ever want to be in a position where I can't put food on the table for my family. And I love my mom, and she passed away several years ago, but that was just the way our life was. And so, I didn't want to struggle. I just didn't want that for myself or my kids.
Yeah. My childhood, my sister and I got a sister that's a year older than me and another sister that's a year older than her. And I would wear the pants on Monday. She'd wear them on Tuesday. We'd wash them on Wednesday. She'd wear them on Thursday and I'd wear them on Friday. And we had like 2 pair of jeans. And I remember she had a pair of overalls that we used to wear. And they had flowers coming up right here. So I would have to put my shirt over the overall so that you couldn't see
the flower.
I'd be afraid to raise my hand too high in school because if I did, then you would see the flowers on the side. And I remember, having holes in my shoes. And again, my mom and dad, still wonderful. I love y'all. I'm not clowning y'all. I appreciate y'all. So I got to say that because they're watching. But I saw that and I said, you know what? I want to have more comfort than that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not that I don't like, they're wonderful people. My dad's house is paid off. He's doing his American dream, but we just had a bunch of people that we had to take care of and a bunch of mouths that we had to feed. And I think that I learned, I like what you're saying, that we have sometimes a bad relationship with money.
Mm-hmm. I think we think that money is going to solve all of our problems.
Yeah.
And it provides a lot of nice things for us. It really does.
No doubt.
Money can come to us at any time. We have to believe that it's going to come to us. And if you say that you're poor, or if you say that you're uneducated, or if you say that you're rich, or if you say that you're educated, those things continue to, you continue to believe those, and they continue to you putting them on replay in your mind.
Yeah.
So let's go to a family who is poor. Let's just say you don't have...
They don't have the financial means.
Yes. And so mom and dad, or one parent or the other, is always saying, we don't have that. We can't afford that. We don't have the money for that. So then that's instilled in their kids.
Yeah.
And then their kids grow up and they go, we can't afford that. We don't have that.
It's a limiting mindset.
It's a limiting belief. And, you hear these wonderful stories about people who break out of their, out of poverty or whatever it is that they break out of. And you hear these amazing stories. But and then let's take a family who's wealthy, that money comes very easy to the family. Well, so they could go buy whatever they want at any time that they want to buy it. So those kids are brought up to believe, I could have this. I deserve this. Yeah. This is mine.
Have you ever noticed that you may have a kid who grew up with wealth? They may not be that smart. They certainly aren't as creative as us, but somehow in their mind, they just know that they got money and it's going to come. It's not even something that they even think about. They don't worry about it. They just kind of know that money's there. I know that that's what you're saying.
And that's their mindset.
Yeah.
So they're not sitting there going, I don't know how I'm going to put food on the table tomorrow. They just know that food's going to be there. And there's no right way or wrong way. There is just ways that you could figure things out and you can make it happen. And if you believe that money will come to you, it will. It will come to you.
Like, listen, she's saying this. We've said it. She continues to repeat herself in different ways. The belief system is so important. If you believe that you can't do it, you can't do it.
Correct.
If you believe that you can do it, you can't do it. I mean, it's just, what do you believe?
And let's go back to the whole, go to school, get an education, get married, save for retirement. And when we believe that that is the only way, then that's what's going to be our path. It's going to, but time is my currency. Time is all of our currency. Let's face it, we're all going to die. It's the only thing that we know for certain. It's when. It's
happening.
It's a certain. And so if I know that time is my currency and money is not my currency, how do I want to spend my time? Not how do I want to spend my money. I can always make more money. Always, always, always. You could always make more money. Ma'am. We all can make more money. We can never make more time.
You know what? You're getting older and you're getting closer to the end every single second that you take.
Every single second. I read a book last year called 4,000 Weeks. The average human lives on this planet, Earth, for 4,000 weeks. 4,000 weeks. If you look at that, I'm more than halfway through my 4,000 weeks.
Yeah, she's 27 years old. Don't let her tell you no lies.
And you think about 4,000 weeks. It's not a long time.
It's not at all.
No.
Well, what would you tell 10-year-old Lisa who's laying out on the grass? What would you tell her if you could give her some advice?
Keep pushing through, because it is beautiful when you figure it all out. I would not change a thing that I've went through, because it got me where I am today.
Love it.
And I take every piece of my journey and I go, how can I grow? What did I learn? And how can I do something different? I didn't always think that way, but that's how I think now.
Yeah.
And so I would tell 10-year-old Lisa, if you could think that way today, when you're, go back and just know you can make this happen.
You said the word beautiful, and it was real when you said like so beautiful. What's beautiful that's going on in your life? I mean, is it travel? Like what travel is going on, or like what is it that's beautiful that's going on in your world? Because when you said that word, it almost is like I need to know what beautiful
What
means.
beautiful means.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a step back. 5 years ago, I was engaged to a wonderful man that was tragically killed in a car accident. I could sit here and talk to you about it today because of everything that I have done to grow myself and understand that I am here for a purpose, and my purpose is to live. And so I want to experience, I know how short, I experienced it. I know how short time life is, and I know how valuable time is. And I don't want to miss a moment. So I want to experience everything and anything I can. So last year, I rented my house out on Airbnb.
Come on now, Airbnb.
For 8 months, and I traveled. And you're going to love this because it's very genius. And when I say traveled, you don't have to have lots of money to travel.
Okay.
Okay. There's ways.
Tell us how to do that without having a lot of money. 'Cause all my travel cost.
All right. So first thing I did was rent my house out. That covered my mortgage.
Yep.
Okay. Barely, but it did. Second thing is I joined this app. I'm going to just give shout outs to all these people. I joined this app called Trusted House Sitter.
Okay.
And what it is it's a house sitting, pet sitting app that you pay a fee to belong to. They do a background check and all that stuff. But then once you belong, no money exchanges hands beyond that. It's almost like a dating site. You go and apply for.
Yep. You meet the criteria.
Yes, you meet the criteria. So you say, okay, so I would open the app up and the whole map pulls up. It's not only just the US, it's worldwide. And I would say, where do I want to go? And I would pick spots and I would go apply to pet sit at these places.
Nice.
So you're pet sitting at a person's house in these places that you want to go to.
Genius.
So I went to Maui, I went to Bend, Oregon, I went to Santa Barbara, I went to Santa Rosa, I went to Aspen, I went to the mountains of Colorado.
House sitting. Dog sitting.
Pet sitting.
Oh my God.
So no money is exchanging hands. So they get a free pet sitter. I get a free place to stay. My mortgage is being covered. So it's genius.
I love it.
Genius.
She's calling her own shot. She said it's genius, and we all in this studio shaking our heads saying, why haven't I ever thought of that? God, that is smart.
So there's ways to do things. You have to think outside the box.
There's another jewel, y'all, that she just dropped on us. Think outside the box. Come up with a creative way to live out your dream. You did this for 8 months?
8 months last year.
Were you ever in a point where you're like, oh, I don't have a place to stay?
Yes.
A lot, or
You want me to tell you?
please tell me.
So this is looking back, it was a week of time, but at the time felt a little ugh. Okay. So I'm in California and I'm in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
And I'm staying at this house pet sitting. And it was a week that I was pet sitting there. A week I was supposed to go to LA, and then these people were going to leave again, and I was supposed to go back to their house for another week.
Right.
So I wanted to do the 2 weeks in Santa Barbara because who doesn't want to go to Santa Barbara?
Right.
I really wasn't super concerned about being in LA, but it filled that gap. So I got to the house in LA, and let's just say that it wasn't the most pleasant house.
You weren't in the right neighborhood.
It's not about the neighborhood. The neighborhood was fine, but I wasn't the neighborhood. Yeah, we could call the house. They had a bird aviary in their backyard that the man had built attached to their house. They had like 12, 15 birds out there, and he asked me to feed them, which was fine. I don't mind feeding the birds, but he put on the little description, don't mind the happy mice that might be living in the aviary. I was like, okay. And then
That took us back to the projects. All the people that grew up in the hood, that took us right back to the hood. We like, no, I'm not going back where the mice is at. No, not the mouse.
and then, there's ants all over the house. It smelled bad. It was very dirty. I don't think they had cleaned out their refrigerator or their pantry in probably 5 to 8 years.
Oh, no.
It just, I kind of felt like I didn't, I'm like walking around like this. I didn't really want to touch anything. It just kind of felt gross. And so I had to call the app and tell them I didn't feel comfortable staying there. I stayed one night and the pets were fine. And I had to call the family and tell them that I wanted to leave their house. And they called me back and said, no problem, we'll find somebody else. Well, then they called me back in an hour and they had already found somebody.
Wow.
And so I had no place to stay. Like I literally just rendered myself homeless at that point.
But I think there's a big piece that I'm catching in the story is that you had this vision, you had this plan, it's working, you're executing it, it's perfect, and then you ran into a snag. That's going to happen, you all. If you're in business, you're going to run into a snag. You're going to put a plan together. The plan's not going to work perfectly. You've got to be nimble. You got to be versatile. You got to change it up. You got to move around.
You got to think quick on your feet.
Yeah.
And so it ended up, it was 4th of July weekend. I could not find a place to stay for that whole week. Nobody had places to stay. It was just, I could stay here one night, here 2 nights, here one night.
So you're piecing it together.
I'm piecing it together. And it's exhausting when you're packing your shit up and moving it again and packing it up and moving it again. And so that was like a week of time that I didn't have a place to stay. And then there were times where I came back to my house in Dallas and there were still people there. And I would just stay with a friend for a night or two and it was totally fine. But
awesome.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience.
I love that experience. I think that is legit, probably the most creative vacationing I've ever heard. And I don't know if I have the courage to do something like that. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know if I would ever be able to do something, but I love the way that you think outside of the box. I want to talk a little bit about your social media.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit about your formula and your recipe. And I know you guys, if you want to hire her, you have the opportunity to hire her. But our job on the Pro Formula is to help entrepreneurs and help professionals, not just entrepreneurs, professionals across every single industry get to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen what you do on social media. And I'm just curious about, do you mind sharing your routine?
No, not at all.
Not necessarily just your social media routine, but talk to me a little bit about like, what do you do every day?
Mm-hmm.
What's your schedule like when you wake up and all the way through?
So first thing is, whether you're looking for a new job or you're wanting to build a business, you have to build your personal brand.
Okay.
You have to build your personal brand. And your personal brand is your experience. It's going to, even if you're looking for a job, you have to build your personal brand.
Okay.
And so that's the first thing I'm going to say. The second thing is, whether you're looking for a job or whether you're trying to build a business, you have to be consistent in whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever that looks like. So I will give you a little bit of background on my LinkedIn journey. I just recently, so right now, as we're speaking, we're in August of 2023. In December of 2022, I decided to go all in on LinkedIn. But before that, I was very sporadic. I would show up for a month or two, and then I would disappear. I would post something, but not at a consistent time. I would comment or engage, but not consistently.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that's the first thing and I was like, how come all these other people that I'm following are doing so great and mine goes like this? Well, because I wasn't consistent.
Okay. So consistency, y'all, that's another key.
And I didn't put the time and the energy and the effort into growing my social media. I just thought, you could just show up a couple of times a week, or you could just post a couple of times and that's all. So in December, I decided to go 100% all in. I started reading, I started taking courses, I started just going and looking at what other people were doing. And I started just, any kind of post that they would put, I'm absorbing it and I'm reading it and I'm going, okay, that's a little nugget. That's a little nugget. And just started writing them down or putting them in my notes and just going, okay, I need to start doing this and I need to start doing that. And I started showing up consistently at 7:45 a.m. Central Time. My post goes live.
Wow.
Every morning, Sunday through Saturday, every single day.
So 7 days a week.
7
you're
days a week.
Something at 7:45
a.m. Yes. At 7:30 a.m., I'm getting on the platform, and this is LinkedIn, and it works pretty much for any platform, but I'm getting on the platform and I'm starting to engage. So I'm going to other people's posts, I'm commenting, I'm liking, I'm going to the DMs, I'm seeing who I could engage with in the DMs. You have to start engaging.
What do you say to that person that's like, I'm putting the content out there, but then nobody liked it, and nobody's commenting on my page.
Are you commenting on their pages? Are you commenting on other people's pages?
Okay.
Are you finding people to engage with? And it's not, you have to find commonality.
Is this genuine? Like, I like your post, so I'm commenting on your post.
Yes.
And it's a genuine post. You're not just arbitrarily putting something out there and just hoping that it sticks.
You could slide into their DMs and you could say, hey, I see we have some kind of commonality. So go through their profile and say, oh, we both grew up in Texas, or, oh, we're both in this marketing group, or I'm in marketing too, or whatever it is, find some commonality through their profile and start DMing them. And it's just a genuine connection, and people want authenticity. So when I get these DMs that say, hey, Lisa, I could guarantee you, 100 leads over the next month, and my proven no.
You're not listening to that.
You're not listening.
But somebody's like, Lisa, I liked your post the other day that you put up. That was really interesting. I thought that was really cool. That's the person that you're going to speak.
It resonated with me, and this is how it resonated with me. And yes, those are the people I'm going to engage with. So consistently showing up at a certain time, and you train your audience to know when to look for you and to know when to start engaging with you. I get DMs when I haven't posted. So my LinkedIn account was shut down several months ago, and we'll talk about that too. Or several weeks ago, sorry. And I'll get DMs that'll say, hey, you didn't post today. If I don't.
So they're looking for you.
They're looking.
Your audience is looking for you.
Your audience to be.
What happened with your profile?
My profile page, my LinkedIn got shut down completely, just shut down for 8 days. And this is why this is one of the things I want to say is social media is a rented platform. And this is a great tip. You have to own your audience through your email list.
Yeah.
And you asked me, what does my day look like? I get up every morning and I do a 15-minute meditation, and I go to the gym and I work out. And then
y'all are hearing that. Almost every guest that you guys have heard, episode after episode after episode, has this similar comment. They have this in common.
Well, I have to have a morning routine. I'm a morning person. I'm up at like 5:45 every morning. I do my meditation and I'm at the gym by 6:30. And that is what keeps me grounded. That's what keeps me balanced. That's what keeps me energized. It's the way that my world works. If I don't go to the gym or get some kind of exercise, whether it's outdoors walking or riding a bike, or when I was traveling, I was hiking, or I was snow skiing or paddleboarding, I have to have some kind of movement. And then I also have some kind of mental movement as well. And that's, non-movement through my meditation. And then I start my day. I have a team. So I have a team and I'm really, really a big believer in empowering women. And I have a team of 2 women that work with me, and we create content for our clients. And so we are a content marketing agency. We have clients that span all kinds of industries. Our niche is we're the girl next door. We're that friendly, gal pal that you could just have a conversation with. When I talk to potential new clients, they always tell me, I feel like I could be your friend.
Is it really women that you're targeting?
No. All my clients are small businesses. I'm not targeting women or men, and I have both as clients. It's really small businesses.
Got it.
That's really what we're targeting. But I'm a huge believer in empowering women and supporting women, and that is my team is women. Yes. And so we use Monday.com, which is a project management system. We have all of our clients on there. We have our team on there. Everything that we're working on personally for our, for whatever we're doing is on there. Right now, Tarek, we're in the process of doing a lot of stuff. So I have It's Simply Digital. I have the Toke agency. And we're trying to separate Lisa Williams from both of those and build my own personal brand, which is called Simply Lisa Williams. So we have 3 things going on. That's a lot. But so I create content. I do strategies for my clients. I do strategies for us. We're constantly, tweaking things and redoing things. And I'm creating my own content. I'm creating newsletters for myself, for clients. I'm working with my team to figure out, okay, where are we at on this project? Where are we at on this project? What they're working on. They have full 100% creative autonomy. Thank you. Lost my train of thought. They have, and I empower them to do that. And we have this huge trust between each other. So they get to have as much creative freedom as they want.
Man, I could go on and on and on with Miss Lisa. This has been such a fun interview. I want to just tell you I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm inspired by you. I salute you. I want you to talk to the people and let them know how they can get a hold of you and why they should get a hold of you.
Okay, so it's simplydigital.com is my website, and you could connect with me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, and it's Lisa Williams, or it's Simply Digital is on Instagram. And the reason that you should connect with me, so you had asked me, if you want to get started as an entrepreneur, we have a webinar that's going to be free that's coming out.
Nice.
And we're going to show you why you need to build a personal brand and create content consistently. And we're gonna show everybody how to do that. So that's for somebody who's just starting out. If you're a small business or an entrepreneur and you want to focus on growing your business and you don't want to focus on marketing your business because it's a pain in the ass, that's why they should call me, because we market your business for you.
Awesome. If you need some help marketing your small business, reach out to It's Simply Digital. I'm so happy that I had the courage to reach out and call you. This has literally been one of the funnest interviews that I've ever done. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I could talk to you forever. I feel like
we can keep going.
I know.
Yeah, we
but
can keep
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, that's it today from the Pro Formula. We're sitting here in the beautiful Dreams studio out here in the DFW, y'all. If you are looking for a studio or somewhere to shoot, you need to hit my man Dream Motivates up. This studio is absolutely phenomenal, and it has everything that you need.
And it's swanky. Look at this.
I mean, this is it's player. It's player. It's how it's supposed to be. So I just want to tell you, man, shout out to my man Dream, and I also want to tell Lisa Williams, Lisa, thank you so much. I hope that I'll catch you all next time on the Pro Formula Podcast. I'm your host, Tarek Shabazz, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.